Alright, this is Raise Your Fucking Standards for August 14th of 2025. So, a few important notes made today. One is from the role play that was done with the Wolves. One is from a group meeting. Well, a few are from the group meeting. And a few are just from my own internal dialogue and internal thoughts. So in regards to the role play, one area of improvement that I could use is how I'm leading up to their banking information, right? So as I'm leading up to their banking information, it's important that I decrease the amount of friction leading up to the question of, okay, Americo is requesting your account number, so go ahead with that information whenever you're ready. It's important that I'm, before that, asking, are they banking locally, nationally, with the credit union? And then some sort of follow-up question to that along the lines of, well, Jimmy, since you're banking locally, is it fair to say that such and such? I know this is not being very detailed or specific, but the point is, you gotta decrease the friction. While you may have authority, if you do have a lot of friction, people are gonna close up because humans are fear-based animals. So they're gonna close the fuck up. They're gonna be like, fuck this guy, goodbye. So that's one thing to note, just in the back of my mind, that needs to be worked on. Now, in regards to the actual Wolves meeting, right? So primarily, we looked at the dialing system, and we also touched on intros, the intro of the script. Aside from that, one of our leaders did mention about how we had a group meeting with another producer who knows them really well, who knows the Wolves really well, who uses the same dialing system and actually calls by doing dial, ring, 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 like the fucking manual system, right? And this guy, this motherfucker, with zero disrespect towards him, it's actually out of respect that I'm saying that word, the very next day after we had that group meeting, he closed $15,000 fucking dollars. Okay? So what the fuck is your excuse? What, just because he's been at it for a year and a half? No, there is no fucking excuse. With this simply means that you gotta keep learning and improving. Now that was a pretty solid side note, but aside from that, in regards to the dialer and the intro, everything's pretty straightforward. A big thing is just to be able to react properly to intro, and not just intro, but all kinds of objections. And a good note made by one of our current leaders was that in order to practice objections well, literally do voice recordings of objections and then listen to those and respond to those. So that's something that after I fucking kill this test this Sunday, that is something that I have to work on. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. One of the top priorities is handling those objections, because practicing the script and getting to memorize it, that's great, but that's just like leveling the ground before you pour the foundation. So that was from our group meeting, my few main points from that. Now, and we are going to keep this short because it is pretty late, yada yada, but some general side notes about just some internal dialogue, and going back to what was touched on yesterday about having limiting beliefs and fears and how to overcome that shit. Well, one of the best ways, the best ways to overcome any sort of limiting beliefs and any sort of delusional fears that stand in your way is by going through the process one singular micro fucking step at a time. Now, what does this mean? Well, for example, when I'm swimming 2,000 yards or more of butterfly straight, you think I'm thinking about the whole 2,000? Fuck no. I'm swimming the motherfucker one stroke at a time. One catch, one pull, one kick, one breath, repeat. One stroke at a fucking time. Not the fucking however many. I don't even know how many strokes would be in that, but you get my point. So then that transfers into this. Rather than bitching and worrying about, oh my gosh, I'm so scared I'm not going to be good at sales because I'm just started, and so in my group, he's already been at it and look how good he is, and he's already making the calls and I haven't even finished the license. Well, motherfucker, stop. Yes, you got to compare yourself to get better, but on the other hand, you got to realize that it is a process. And the way to go through that process is by one single fucking micro step at a time. So in fact, I'd say the best takeaway that I've made for myself today is that I, just as in swimming, I simply have to approach this journey one step at a time. There's absolutely no point in trying to approach it looking at the whole mountaintop that I have to climb. Yes, that image has to constantly be in the back of my mind. I 100% agree. However, in order to achieve anything massive, in order to eat an elephant, you gotta eat it one fucking bite at a time. Which is why, stop rushing, stop jumping, stop getting overwhelmed like a sissy, and solve the fucking problem. Engage in the fucking process one step at a time. Just like you're swimming several miles of butterfly. Just like you're running a fucking marathon. Just like you're building a house. One singular micro step at a time. And reward yourself for milestones along the way as well. Don't just work like a robot and then think, well, what the fuck is the point of all this work? Yeah, I worked, yeah, I achieved something, but I have no satisfaction. I didn't reward myself, which is why that is also extremely important, to have little rewards and little milestones, something which I'm currently working on. So, to wrap it up for tonight, I'd say biggest takeaways. 1, just because some motherfucker, and again, no disrespect to anyone, but in fact, respect, just because some motherfucker is kicking ass at it right now in the business does not mean whatsoever that you can't be in his position and better within that same or shorter time frame. You can't limit yourself. That's thing 1. Thing 2. Okay, I forgot thing 2. We'll come back to that if I remember it. Thing 3, the biggest takeaway. Engage the process one day at a time. Stop getting flustered and overwhelmed and fucking scared. You can only do it one day at a time. That's the way it should be. Anything worthwhile happened one day at a time. Let's give a good example. Like a really good example. I have lots of examples in my own life. Actually, screw it. Because I am practicing talking myself, I'll give an example from my life. And in fact, we've been talking about this example. Swimming several miles of butterfly straight. When I had this goal in the back of my head. How did I get there? Well, first, and this took literally several years to happen, and now it's like it's normal. And the same exact thing's going to happen with money. Now I seem fearful and scared that I'm not going to make money from sales. Bullshit. One day at a time, and then I'm going to be at the point where I'm going to have so much money that it's normal. It's the standard. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because anyone can fucking do it. So, long story short, to swim that butterfly, how did I do it? First, I did a bunch of hundreds IM in a row. Then I did them back to back, no breaks. Then I started adding more fly. Eventually, more fly. And then boom, there you go, several miles of butterfly, day by day. Not all at once, all right? So it's already 11 minutes. We'll cut it here. But, and I forgot takeaway number 2, doesn't really matter. But, biggest takeaway for you tonight. Solve your problems, but more importantly, achieve your visions and your ambitions one day at a time, not 30. One day at a single mother effing time. All right. Have a good night. Keep at it. Keep working on yourself. Life is too short to listen to the people that pull you down. Surround yourself with people that pull you up and get better and become the person you were meant to become. Fulfill your identity, your immense identity. All right. Bye.